Hey everyone, hope you're doing well today. My name is Nate, and today we're going to learn how to do one of these designs off the back wall here. So I'm going to come back here. We're going to go ahead and pick out a shirt. I'm going to pick this one out right here. And today's lesson is going to be the smiley face. All right, to get started, we're going to take one of our shirts right here. These have been washed and prepped in soda ash and spun out. So if you need to see how to do that, please watch my video, how to wash and prep your shirt for tie-dye, and that'll explain how to do that. All right, so first thing we're going to do, turn the shirt inside out. Then we're going to lay it face down. You make sure to get all these wrinkles out. Lay it flat. Make sure it's even and the same on both sides. We will be folding this in half, and if it is not even here, then your shirt will be off when we fold it. So this is important that we do this. You can go through, get all the wrinkles. Make sure your collar, down the collarbone to the shoulders, and then to get the sleeves, you can stick your fingers in, give them a little stretch. Do that to both sides. All right, now we're good and flat. Check these armpits. All right, so our center point. I'm going to take a washable marker. I use the Crayola brand. They seem to wash better than the cheaper brands. Some of the cheaper brands will leave marks on your shirt and won't wash out completely, where these will. So first thing to do is we're going to take the two corners. We're going to bring them together like this. Take a finger down the center and fold this. This is your middle point. So this is the center of the shirt right here. We're going to make a little mark right there. Okay, unfold that, bring it back. So our center is right here. And then you're going to draw a line from there to here. If you don't feel like you can do that on your own, and you've got a long ruler or something, or just anything that's long, this doesn't have to be perfect. It's just a guideline and a reference for you. And then the center of our design, we're going to want it to be about an inch and a half below the armpit. Okay, so we're going to come over here. Right here, it's going to be the center. And the way that I draw this, I have this little tool that I've made. If you have anything that's a circle that's big enough, you can lay that on here. Or if you need, get something like this and you tie it around. Find your center point here. And hold right here. And you can make a circle. Just like this. Oops. You'll want to tie that if you do, though. This is just kind of a guide to show you. So I have this to make my perfect circle. That way that they're consistent each time. I have the same size each time, but just so that you can see it was there. And then I even have right here, I drew my smiley face on here so that I can see it right here. So I'm just going to move this over just like this, just for like a little reference. I've done this a few times, so I got it pretty much down, but like it's not always perfect. So we're going to draw our eyes right here. Make sure they're pretty decently sized. Too small can be a little tough to tie. So there's a good size good size eye right there. And then the mouth, you want it to be about 1.5 inches, maybe almost 2 inches from here, and it's going to follow the whole thing. So we're going to do just like this and follow, and we want it to be a little lower or higher. I guess we'll do lower. I mean, mine is lower, so we want it to be lower than the center because we're going to loop this around here. Actually, this can probably go up a little bit higher there. Loop this around here and come down and follow it. Just like this. And so if you don't draw this perfect, what we're going to do is we're going to take a darker color and we're going to go back over this so that you can see it just right, because it's a little bit off. I want this to be a little bit more. All right, so we're only going to be tying one side. So I really only need to draw one side with the darker color. So this will be our line that we tie, this darker line here. So our darkest color will be our finalized color, just like this. So that's what we'll be tying there. So we need to go a little bit higher up on this, and we need a little bit lower here. So that's about the size we want here. So we'll just continue following this, basically outline this at the same distance, but we don't want it to go too much higher. That might even be up a little bit too high here, but we'll see. So now we're going to come back down here, and I'm going to hold this, and we're just going to follow this right up here, just like this. And then right here, so I like to hold the fabric so it doesn't move, but from the direction that I'm pulling from. So you can see I was holding it from there, it moved on me, so I had to move my hand. And then we can put a border on this if we want. I think I'm just going to leave it like this. Okay, so now we'll close this up. Move that out of the way there. And then to fold this in half, you're going to reach under. Make sure you grab the front collar here that's on the bottom. Grab it right here in the center along this line. Grab this point and pull, lift up, and swing. That way you got your design here. Then you're going to flatten this all out. Make sure all your wrinkles are out. Everything is smooth. If it's not smooth, the two sides will be different and the front and back could be different. We don't want that. So we got to make sure all of it is the same. So each layer mirrors here. And so every wrinkle that's in there that's not supposed to be in there messes up that fold. And so, or messes up that mirror, and so we end up getting an image that is not the same from side to side. And the more wrinkles that are in there, the more it messes up, and the less our image looks like it's supposed to. So gotta make sure nice and smooth, right down the center. You know, our line may not be drawn perfect, but that's why you go through. And actually, we're going to adjust a little bit here. So something was not quite lined up. I need to pull this in just a little bit. Just a little. There we go. Get those tiny little differences can make all the difference in your shirt when it's done. Especially if you have a circle and you don't fold it in half. A circle is no longer a circle. It's an elliptical, and it's either elongated this way or elongated this way, depending on if you folded it too much or too little. So you got to make sure that that's all done correct. Take your time. Don't worry if it's taking a while. Just get it done. And there we go. Okay, so we're going to start with the eye right here. And the way that I do this is an isolation. If you've ever done geodes, it's kind of like the geode, but so what you'll do is you're going to fold it right down the center so that it picks up just like this. And then you're going to make pleats, basically, just like this, so that this line right here and this line right here are lined up with themselves. So now we've got that right there. We're going to take this. This is 70-pound artificial sinew. It is a waxed cord. It gives a resistance so that when you pull it tight, this die and this die do not bleed into each other. So I'm going to hold this right here and wrap it around here. Not tight yet, just semi-snug so that it gets a little bit of bite into the material. If you pull it too tight, the whole thing will slip off. So all we're trying to do is just establish its route. And then once we got it, you'll pull a little bit with each one. Once you're pretty sure it's there, then you can tighten it, because once you got about 5 or 6 on here, it'll lock on itself. So we're going to pull this pretty tight, not as tight as you can because you don't want it to break. These will snap. If it snaps and it's under there, this is a super pain to get off. And you don't want to really cut it off because sometimes you cut the shirt. So the goal is don't break it. Just do your best not to break that. Okay, so we're just going to leave that right there. Now we're going to come over to this. We're going to do the same thing, but with this being curved, it's a little bit tougher. So what you're going to do is spread all this out. Try to get nice and flat. Make sure you got both layers, or all the layers all the way through, so it still feels even. And then you're going to grab on the outer edges, actually probably grab right here in the middle, and start this pinch just to kind of get the shape. And then you're going to pick that pinch up, make it follow all the way to the front. You're going to make it raised so that everything is raised to your marker point right here. See if you can see from that angle. Okay, so now that we've got that mostly lined up, it's going to be real hard to get like perfect here. So what you're going to do is get it, I got it for the most part here, just nice and in its spot. So then we're going to come over here and we're going to start just gathering all of it this way, one fold at a time, making a zigzag like this. So it's a pleat, but it's just in a different direction. So you're just going to go like this the whole way. So make it fold this way, then fold it back the other way. And then you're going to check your lines, make sure that this side and this side here are lined up with each other. So you may have to make some adjustments here and there. But you'll make your fold, make your fold, and then you're going to keep folding back and forth while adjusting the whole time. So it can be a little tedious, and sometimes it may even get a little frustrating because this is a curve. So with it being a curve, it's fighting against you the whole time. Right now, this is not really a natural way for the fabric to move, because this side here, there is less fabric than here. So trying to fold them evenly is not really all that easy. So you're going to have a few folds that are in there that are slightly different, or they'll fight against you while you're doing this. Do your best to hold all this still with this hand, and while you're gathering with the other, or whichever hand you do it. I don't know. You guys may be doing it the opposite direction, being whatever hand you use. I'm actually not sure what hand I am dominant with this. So yeah, but as you can see here, see how my purple now is all lined up. I'll flip this over to the other side. See if I can let you see from here. And you can see just like this. And so see how the folds just go back and forth, a little zigzag here. Okay. Now we're going to take this and we're going to follow it around. Make sure to give a little bit of slack. We don't want this to be tight because it'll pull it over. We don't want that. We need to make sure that that room stays in there so we can dial that. So leave a little slack here. Use your fingers to hold. So my thumb right here, this thumb is holding it. So I'm gonna wrap around and then let my middle finger right here hold that. And then I'm going to pull it just a little bit. Just make sure it's kind of snug on here, has a little bit of bite. And we're going to continue with wrap now. So I'm going to do this about, I don't know, 4 times maybe. I think that was 4. Give that a little pull. So you want this to be tight, but you don't want it to pull this to it. So if you start seeing this pull, loosen up a little bit, go back, redo it. So we got it here. Okay. So here's our eye. Here's our mouth. Now we're going to flatten this all out for the most part here. I guess right here doesn't really matter too much. But now we're going to pleat along that outer circle. So you need to just make sure you got room to do it. This may make it a little tougher here, but really all we're doing is we're working this line right here. So feel what feels comfortable as far as the folds. If you've got some folds already kind of in there, but you want them to be all the same height. So if you got some folds hiding down in here, make sure you're lined up. Everything is lined up right here. So if any of this goes off one way or the other, your circle may or may not be a circle anymore. But if it's off just a little bit, it should be okay. But just because it's mirrored and it kind of can hide some of that stuff. But your goal here is to try to make this all line up as best as possible. And always just remember, as best as possible. So that means not perfect. Sometimes you can't make it perfect. Sometimes there is only so good that you're able to do. So you just work with what you got, make it the best that you're able, and you go with it. So tie-dye doesn't have to be perfect. You can be off a little bit, and that's partially what makes some of the cool effects too. You just don't want something to be off too much, because if it's off too much, you can lose the detail of whatever it is you're trying to do. And like this is a pattern here. We're trying to keep a pattern, trying to make it look like a smiley face here. So we want it to be, pretty clean for the most part for an image. But you can see, like, I don't know if you can tell from that angle, some of my folds are a little taller and a little shorter than others, but they're mostly close. And so when I tie this, what'll happen is these lower ones will actually have a little bit of dye bleed. Won't be a whole lot, just a little bit in it. That's totally fine with this. You don't want a lot, just a little, just the right amount. Give it the nice cool tie-dye effect. That way each piece ends up looking different. If you spend all your time trying to make them look all the exact same, then they'll all just look the exact same. And be like, might as well just print them. We want them to look a little different while still having some consistency to them. Okay, yeah, like these, the pattern itself, well, I may be basically tracing a pattern. Actually, I just trace the outside. I do have some stencils where I do trace the pattern, but even with a stencil, when you tie it up, it ends up being a different, slightly different piece every single time. So, all right, so we got that tied pretty good. Give that a nice good pull. Just make sure that does not break. So we are now done with the sinew. Give that a cut. You want to make sure to leave a little bit on here because this is where you're going to untie it when you go. So if you cut right there, you're not going to be able to untie it. You don't want that to happen. Okay, so now from here, so see these folds that are already here? We're just kind of help them continue their way out just by pulling sort of where they are. And that tension will make some of these folds pop up. Some of them will drop down low. So I'll just extend all of these folds out. They all seem to be about good. And then close these up. So right here, fix this a little bit. There we go. And we're going to bring all of this in, give it a good squeeze. That way it holds its shape. Cotton has some memory to it, I like to call it. So now that we've given that a squeeze, we can let go and it's held its shape. It's going to start to spring open slowly as it sits. So we're going to take these rubber bands here and fold in half, just like this. And then you're going to put 4 fingers through it. This is the easiest. If you don't have the strength, this can be kind of hard. Use your thumb right here to help. And we're just going to slide over this right here, just like this. This can be a little difficult because we are going over all of this, but it is easier to go over this than it is to come this way because you're trying to slide over and this could spread back out and you'll have to refold it. So it's easier to go this way. So we're going to do that quite a few times. And one of the things I like to do when I do these rubber bands like this is each rubber band between it is going to be a different color. You don't have to dye it like that, but it's kind of an easy way to help yourself through here. If you're not sure where to put colors, do color, 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 color. Okay, now that we got to here, so I can take one more. We're just going to slip it over, give it a fold, and finish this tail. There we go. Just one on that tail though. And then up here, let's see. So to keep this and this from touching anything, we'll take a rubber band. And the same thing we did on that tail right there, we're going to do to this. Make sure that that is binded to itself. We're going to do that right here as well. This makes it so that when you put the dye on here, is much less likely to touch anywhere else because these are typically colored in black. You don't have to do black, but This and this are usually not the same color, so you'll want to make sure that you don't allow these to touch. And then from here, to get some of this so that you don't have anything loose, you can even start putting a rubber band on here, just in different spots. So that way you get all of these pieces here to all kind of be held together just like that. So we got the full color spectrum right here, full rainbow spectrum. So what we're going to do, we're going to start off with black, and we're going to make our border right here. I put a little bit at a time, let it soak in. Kind of move to another spot. Don't want to put too much in one spot at one time, otherwise it'll spread. Then we're going to go over to the other side, flip it over, add some black over here too. And depending on how bold of a line you want is how much black you'll put here. So I'm actually going to extend some of this out, but not put very much of it out here. And what that's going to do is, by having some farther out on this side, but not the other side, it'll create a zigzag effect all the way around it. All right. The eyes and the mouth. So as you're adding dye to this, be very careful. You want it to soak in, but you don't want it to drip off. If it drips off and lands anywhere on any part of any other part of the shirt, it will dye it black. So be careful doing this. And then you can even come to one side. You don't really want to do both, not until later. So you're going to add a bit of dye to one side, and you keep adding dye to that side until it soaks most of the way down to the other. Because if you just put some dye here and then flip it over, put some dye on the other side, you may not get any dye in the middle, and you'll have black and white eyes. Might have a cool effect too. I don't know. Now that I'm like talking about it, I'm like, hey, that might actually be kind of cool. So maybe we'll, oops, see that right there? That's going to be black, but we'll figure it out. It happens. It's tie-dye. It's whatever. Sometimes can't be perfect every time, and partially it's because my bottle is getting low, so when I tip it, it wants to shoot out. That's when it's like, fill me. So actually we're going to do that real quick. Okay. Yeah, I made a little spill over there while I was doing that. Luckily, none of it's on here. It's nice having this this down here. It's a little soft, so like the bottle shake, but the dye goes wherever. And then it just, down on the bottom is some plastic containers, and the dye just goes down there, and then it evaporates. And so there's probably a whole bunch of dehydrated spent dye powder down there. And actually, it may even work. That'd be kind of cool to scrape that out one day and see if it'll ice dye. See what kind of colors we get out of it. Who knows? Probably just be a brown mess, but maybe not. You never know. It's one of the joys in ice dyes. The colors that are brown are the ones that split out to the best colors afterwards, because they split out to all the colors that make them up. And so we're going to add little bits here. This is pretty dry, so it's actually kind of wanting to repel dye. And that if you let it get bone dry, it will repel dye. So that you want it to be as dry as it can be without actually being completely dry. I used to say slightly damp, but slightly damp can be a little too wet sometimes. So it's like a super fine line between dry and damp and slightly damp, barely dry, slightly dry, mostly dry, barely wet, but not wet. It's like, how do you describe the perfect point using just two polarities? Dry and wet, that's it. Okay. So eyes and border. So there's our smiley face. So now we're going to add color. What kind of color? We got the whole color spectrum. We're going to do a color. Let's do a color fade from top to bottom. Why not? I've been sticking with that theme for pretty much all day today. Everything's been dyed those colors, but we're going to do something slightly different. So start with a different color. Maybe. Obviously, it's not the same color. Usually I start with fuchsia or purple. Yeah, this is definitely super dry. Having a hard time absorbing dye. Like drop at a time. Drip, drip, drip. Okay. Yep. So which direction do I want to go? We'll go this way. Yeah, why not? Why not? Because we can do whatever we want. There's no rules to tie-dye. Who says a smiley face has to be only yellow? Why? Why does that to be only yellow? Why can't it be all the colors? If you're willing to do it, there is no rules that says you can't. There are only about 20 colors as far as the dye goes, and all the other colors come from those 20 colors. And then you can dilute them or mix them to different strengths and get different colors. You can mix them together. So many different things that you can do, and they all have a different effect. Everything changes the outcome. As soon as one thing in the mix is done different, everything's different. So all it takes one little thing. That's what makes it so nice. Is we're human. We're not robots. We do not make the same thing over and over and over. And that's not why we are here. And many of us like to create. And even if we do same pattern, there's only so many patterns you can do when you're working with something. Folds have limitations. And is it possible for any one person to do every single pattern? No, not at all. But maybe You can't do every pattern in every color, but you might be able to do every pattern. Maybe, I don't know. I mean, there's always like random chaos and stuff. Obviously, you can't make every single form of random chaos that there is. That would just be like mind-boggling. And then when you start adding colors in there, like, is there even a computer that can like compute a number that big? All the colors, all the patterns, all the different possibilities, all the different sizes. I'm sure there is. I mean, it's just a number. But I know I can't do it. It's like talking about moles. What number is that? I don't know. You ever heard of a mole? What, like digs underground? No, like the number. No, I never heard of that. Oh, okay. I don't really know what it is. I just know it's big number, too big power. Okay. I'm just gonna keep on trucking along, keep adding color. This can be varies in to some people. Depends on your mood. I've been here dying all day. I recorded quite a few things. I'm on the dye session of all of them. So what I did is did the introduction to all of them all at the same time, and then I did the drawing of each one, and then I did the tying of each one, and now I am dyeing each one. So one by one in steps rather than just doing the whole thing all the way through. This makes it a little smoother and easier for me. I'm on the same train of thought with each video, each little step. So if you're watching all of these videos, it's probably quite a bit of repeat, I would think, maybe. But maybe not all of it. Some of it I've tried to repeat, just like how the other shirts will be going to Colorado to my friend Hunter, just like this one. And he is going to be setting these up in Colorado. So he bought these wholesale, and or he just bought some wholesale shirts for me. He did not really say what all he wanted, just kind of send me some cool stuff. And I was like, all right, cool, just let me know how much you want. And so he paid a certain amount, and I was like, all right, cool. So I'm going to I didn't want to give him just what I had. I wanted to make a few, and I thought it was a good opportunity to record. And so all of these shirts that I've recorded today, wanted to record for the YouTube channel, but then also shirts for him. So he's going to be getting all of these shirts that I dyed today. And there's even a few more shirts that are not a part of this. Yes, I've been here a while. It's nighttime. I'm gonna be here a while still. I do that sometimes. I just get a little like, yeah, I can do this many. I go, oh, that's right. So I start adding colors like this. And before you know it, something that I could do quick takes a long time. But I'm trying to hook up my buddy, so I have no problem in doing this. Let's see, what was this one? Oh yeah, that's right. So this was the smiley face. Oh, excuse me. So Mr. Smiley Face is going to get. Yeah, we'll do it that way. I think that'll be cool. So what I'm going to do is a different color in each of these rubber band areas. Just a nice little squirt squirt. Some of it's dripping off because this shirt is a little dry. It does not want to accept the dye. Once it sits on there, it goes into it, but it's a little hydrophobic at the moment. It is scared of water. It's just water. There's nothing to be scared of. Repel, repel. Unclean. As you can see, like the way that it's stuck right here. Like it just wants to repel. So actually, I'm going to bring some of this over. We're going to overlap a little bit of the colors so that it is a gradient fade. And this fuchsia takes the longest to absorb. It's a bigger molecule. It dies super fast. As soon as it touches, it is pretty much dyed or stained. Takes the longest, one of the longest to rinse out. But it doesn't spread very far. Like a lot of times, if your shirt is a little too wet, you'll notice it right where you put this color. Because it just won't spread into the water at all. And so you'll have like a white pink halo around it. Yep. So I'm just kind of squirting it on. It's dripping off because it's super dry here, but it is all right if it falls off. I'm going to dye the other side all one solid color. It will be grand. We're going to do my turquoise rainbow, I call it. So the rainbow here, and then I'm going to flip it over, dye it with that turquoise, which will actually probably look more like teal. Kind of rinses out to more turquoise color. Yeah, I haven't ever colored a smiley face like this guy. I'm going a little overboard on these. I'm letting these go for wholesale. So my buddy can make a few off of them, hopefully. We'll hook each other up. There we go. I can start to get seen in other states, possibly. We'll see. So I want to start traveling around, and I have an old '90 Ford E150, and it has been giving me some issues for a while now. And I thought I could fix it myself, and I've replaced so many parts, and it was never the parts. So I ran my codes, and I had a few parts that were out of voltage range, and then it said my idle is out of voltage range or out of the acceptable range. And so I started changing all the parts that were a part of that system. Everything that said it was out of voltage, out of range. I was like, all right, cool, just change the part. Nothing happened. So then I was like, maybe my fuel's clogged because I'm not getting the right fuel air mixture. And so I learned how to check fuel pressure. And at the fuel line, I had the right pressure. And I was like, well, maybe the fuel injectors are not injecting properly. So I replaced the fuel injectors. Didn't fix the problem. Okay. So then I started checking vacuum because my vacuum, as soon as I press on the gas, my vacuum goes to 0. So I replaced all my vacuum lines and realized it is not the vacuum. Then let's see. Before this happened, so I've already replaced spark plugs, cap and rotor, and then I started checking for electrical problems. And yeah, so now I'm at this point where I'm like, I've kind of learned the electrical system. I haven't really figured out exactly what it is, but I'm pretty sure I know where it is. But it's in the main wiring harness, and they don't make those. And so it has to be pulled out, and some of it may have to be rebuilt. And I was starting to do that myself, but it's a little tough. I don't know if I necessarily want to do it, and I don't even know if that's the actual problem. So I am now saving up, and I'm going to have somebody look at it. I'm tired of looking at it myself. I don't know if I can fix it. So I'm going to let a mechanic look at it. Just, it's old, so it's a little harder to find that mechanic, that right mechanic, but I'm going to be on the hunt soon. So if you know a mechanic in the Spring Tomball area in Texas who does OBD1 and is willing to look at a 90 Ford E150 with a 5.0 302, let me know. All right, so here's my last step. Put some black over here. And we're just putting a light little layer of black over this. And that is finished. Okay, so now our shirt has been washed and dried. If you need to see how to do that, please watch my video on how to rinse and wash your tie-dye, and that'll go over the steps for you. So I'm going to go over this a little bit. As you can see, here is where we did our isolation on the eyes, which doubled over into 2, and then the mouth, which was the one piece, which folded over just like this. And then, of course, we got our border with the gradient rainbow fade from yellow down to orange, fuchsia, purple, blue, yellow, green, yellow, and orange down here. And then on the outer side where we dyed, one side we did the yellow, orange, fuchsia, purple, blue, green, yellow, orange, fuchsia. And then that other side was completely turquoise. So we got turquoise, rainbow, turquoise, rainbow, turquoise, rainbow. And then, of course, on the other side, it is also the same. So please be sure to click like and subscribe for more videos. My name is Nate. Thank you for watching.